Broadcasting from the Tasman Lake Lodge studios, this is the Finding Fins Fishing Podcast. How much direction are you getting from the governor?
It generates something like $2.4 billion.
I don't know, maybe you didn't want me to tell the story on the show, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
I knew you were going to go there.
Walleyes relating to deep mud where there's schools of bait fishing.
Now it's time to head up to Lake of the Woods to check in with Joe Henry from Lake of the Woods Tourism. Joe, how are things?
Things are great, man. The walleyes are biting. Life is good.
They are biting. I've been hearing that from quite a few people. And one thing I wanted to talk to you about, because I've been having some serious discussions with my family here the last few days about a trip to Lake of the Woods this summer. I don't know how it's happened, but my brother has never been to Lake of the Woods, and I'm not quite sure how that's happened. I kind of wanted to disown him from the family, I'll be honest with you. But
he didn't by chance get dropped on his head when he was a child, did he?
No, that was me, actually.
Oh.
That explains.
No comment.
No, but we've been talking about it because normally we do a trip to Ontario as a big family, 10 of us. We've been doing it for since I was 11 years old. It's become a big family tradition. And this year, because of the border closure, they keep changing dates, and we keep trying to move the dates back. And then we were looking at dates in July. And as you know now, the rumor is, we don't have official statement, but the rumor is that they're going to continue this border closure. I don't know if they're going to extend it another 30 days or if it's going to be 2 weeks. In any case, the rumor is that it's going to be extended into July, possibly the end of July. Who knows what's going to happen? But with that extension, we're looking at new places for our trip, and Lake of the Woods was the top of the list. So I know my nephew Dan has been in contact with a number of resorts. I think he went on the Lake of the Woods tourism website, actually, because he's a good kid and listens to this radio show right here, and has been working on planning a trip to Lake of the Woods, Joe.
Yeah, that's awesome. We would never want anything. We don't want people to lose business in Canada, and really lumping in with Canada as our northwest angle, because most people travel to the northwest angle by vehicle, and when you travel by vehicle, you have to go through Canada. So they're kind of stymied, just like resorts in Canada are. The one caveat to that is that northwest angle, if you want to take a transport boat up, we have companies, resorts that will drive you up via charter boat, or if you want to bring your own boat up there, if you have the right boat and if you have the right captain knows how to drive a boat in big water, or if you want to follow a transport boat for both navigation and they'll knock the waves down for you, put your crew and put your gear in the transport charter boat and then just follow them up. And, fishing up at the angle is awesome. But anyway, all that being said, it's a tough time right now, man. If you're a Canadian resort or a Northwest Angler resort, it's really, really tough. I mean, there's some people that'll go across the Big Traverse Bay, which is the big 35 mile stretch of Lake of the Woods, but there's some people that just won't. They just don't want to go through that. And I understand, at the same time, boy, these poor resorts, they're just struggling. They're caught between two nations is what they're caught between.
What about, are there seasonal openers, seasonal owners, seasonal camps up there with owners that live maybe in Minnesota or other parts of the United States? Can they drive to their camps right now?
So the answer is yes, there are seasonal owners who, only operate in the summertime and they don't live there permanently. And the answer is no, they cannot drive up there. The only way they can get up there is by staying in Minnesota, which means going across water. So it's a tough situation. And, when you're in the resort industry, you work so hard promoting your resort. You're talking advertising, social media, sports shows. You take such a long time to build the relationships and earn trust, and you do all this work, and you start getting a full book of business, and it's through sweat equity and studying and doing all these different things, and all of a sudden, just like that, it can all be gone, and it's just so unfair. So, unfortunate for the Northwest Angler resorts, our South End resorts, you don't have to drive through Canada to go to a South End Lake of the Woods resort, and although they've lost tons and tons of reservations and their business is going to be way off this year, at least they're picking up some business now. And it's not 100%. There's still openings all over the place up there. But, hey, the fish are biting, and people are still getting out on Lake of the Woods and enjoying the summer.
So this would be a good time. If you can't get into Canada for your trip, this would be a good time. There's a lot of openings up at Lake of the Woods for people then.
Well, Lake of the Woods resorts on the South Shore have picked up a lot of business from Canada. And the reason they have, and I'm not telling you anybody anything they don't know. But because of that DUI rule up in Canada, there's groups that say, gosh, if we have to leave Bobby behind because he made a mistake one time in his life, we're not going to do that. We want to fish with Bobby. So what they'll do is they'll go to the next best thing, the best fishing destination they can find that's right on the border and stay in Minnesota. And a lot of them said this trip has been so good, we don't want to go back. And we do have openings now. A lot of our more popular resorts that normally would be filled up in the summer, because of this COVID thing, a lot of the reservations dropped. A lot of the business reservations dropped because businesses aren't doing so much group travel right now. So consequently, there's openings that normally wouldn't be open right now.
What about other changes because of COVID now with some of the reopenings? People can eat in a restaurant up there again, Joe?
Well, yeah, they sure can. So certainly charter boats are open for business. So our charter boats are running strong and getting limits of fish, a lot of big fish. And then our restaurants, they started out with people being able to eat at a resort or a restaurant out on the patio, overlooking the water or out in the woods. And then now, just this past week, they opened it up to indoor dining as well. And so that's game on. And, for some people, they want to get out of the weather. They want to get out of the sun. Perhaps it's hot out. They want air conditioning, maybe no bugs. But nonetheless, indoor dining is open now. So things are starting to kind of get back to normal. And, some people will come up, Brett, and they'll bring their own boat, bring their own food and cook in the cabin and do their own deal. Other people say, gosh, I'm on vacation. The food is so good. There's such a variety. Let's just make this thing easy, and I'm going to eat off the menu. So there's a lot of different ways to do it.
Coming up later in the show, we've got David Morse from American Heroes Outdoors. He's an active duty Minnesota National Guardsman. You've done some business or done a TV show with David, Joe, is that right?
Yeah, I know David. He's a great guy, and very lucky to have him on our side as a soldier. And he's also real good with the media and the fishing and the vets. He's of course got that TV show American Heroes Outdoors, AHO.
And so he is going to talk about his experience in Minneapolis, being deployed in Minneapolis. He's done time overseas. He's been on some tours. He's been around the world a little bit. So he talks about how surreal it was to be doing that job in Minneapolis, to be in his home state and have to do something like that. It's pretty wild. So did you guys do some filming, or was he up there for your veterans event that you guys do?
Yep. So we do a veterans event every year called Pay It Forward. And our Pay It Forward event, which is an annual event, is designed to honor, celebrate, and recognize all veterans. And he, at American Heroes Outdoors, David, came up and shot a TV show, kind of showing off our program. And, we had a great fishing trip. We had so many good veterans on that trip, and just incredible. This year, we normally would have our veterans event in August. And for a number of reasons, Brett, we decided that we're going to have to postpone this year's event until next year. Number one, we didn't want to put some of the veterans that were thinking about coming. Some of them have some health risks. We didn't want to take a chance there. And secondly, we have a lot of Lake of the Woods resorts that put up the cabins, the charters, the meals. They really put in a lot to this thing. And after the big hit they've taken this year, they were going to honor their commitment. However, we just thought it wouldn't be right in that regard as well. So for a number of reasons, we said, let's postpone this year to next year. And that's what we'll do. Heartbreaking decision, of course, but I think it's the right decision for that program for right now.
How's fishing at Lake of the Woods right now, Joe?
Fishing's great. I mean, you hear me say it, and if you don't believe me, because I'm the director of tourism and I'm biased, check out Facebook. Honestly, check out Facebook. Facebook doesn't lie, does it?
No.
Well,
that's for another discussion.
That was a facetious statement trying to get a reaction out of you, but no, fishing's been really, really good. They're getting walleyes, limits of walleyes. We're catching big fish, little fish, medium fish. Jigging is still real popular. Jigging with a frozen shiner has been really good. And then now the water's warming up, so people are starting to catch fish pulling spinners. And when I say spinners, I mean like a weight, maybe a bottom bouncer, and a snelled spinner with either a frozen shiner, a fathead, or a night crawler on it. Maybe a half a night crawler with a 2-hook harness, to be specific. But fishing has just been really, really good. I was up in the lake running a charter last week, and my gosh, we smacked them. Not only do we get limits of fish, we got our stoggers, and then we also got, in 2 days, we got a couple fish over 28. We got a 27 3/4. We got 26, 25, 24. I mean, those are big fish. Those are big walleyes, and got some jumbos, got some nice pike, just really good fishing.
So one question I hear a lot for people that do want to bring their own boat and stay up at one of the lodges, like what we may do with our family, people were questioning the size of boats that you could safely bring out onto Lake of the Woods. What do you tell people when they ask you that question?
It's a great question. And I would tell them on most days, you can go out on Big Traverse Bay, which is the main basin, and fish, 1-2 footers, whatever. Most days, it's just fine. And then if you do have a day that has a lot of wind, there are so many good spots you can fish. You can, the Rainy River has 42 miles of navigable river, and there's always a resident population of walleyes that lives in there, along with smallies, big pike, sturgeon. Sturgeon season opens July 1st. Then you also have 4 Mile Bay. You have Bostic Bay, which is over by the Morris Point area. You have a Zipple Bay. You have places you can duck behind, like Arneson's Rocky Point, Long Point. You can hug that west side of the lake if you need to and get out of the wind that way if it's coming that way. I mean, there's so many places you can fish. Of course, if you go up to the northwest angle, there you have islands. You have 14,552 islands throughout the lake. And then, right now you have to stay in Minnesota waters. You got lots and lots of islands you can tuck behind.
I've heard
so
you
it makes
say
it real nice.
Joe, I've heard you say that so many times, and every time it's almost like you can't even process that number when you say 14. How many islands? 14,500.
So when you think about Lake of the Woods, of course, we share Lake of the Woods, a little piece in Manitoba, real small, Buffalo Bay, and then you got the Minnesota part. And then you got the largest part of it is in Ontario.
Right.
And when you think about our lake, there's over 1 million acres of water. There's 14,552 islands. And because of the size of the lake and because of all the islands, there's over 65,000 miles of shoreline. So when you talk about coming to Lake of the Woods, I mean, there's fish on every shoreline. There truly is, whether it's sand, red cabbage, rock, sand to rock, mud. I mean, there's so many places to fish. You could fish it, I think, every day and never fish it all in a lifetime. It's just incredible. It's really a good fishery. I mean, it truly is. And that's why you hear about Lake of the Woods for, the walleye capital of the world. But you also hear about it for muskies. I'll tell you, the one fish that's off the radar screen, smallmouth bass. There's some absolute footballs, and almost like Mille Lacs Lake that's doing so well for smallmouth bass right now. Smallmouth weren't recognized on Mille Lacs until the walleye started, going defunct a little bit. And by the way, with all respects, walleye fish on Mille Lacs is real good too. But my point is, bass really got popular when they had some of the bass tournaments there and such. Right now, that's Lake of the Woods. We're just under the radar screen because everybody's so walleye crazy.
Joe, you're gonna start becoming a bass guy now, aren't you? I've been seeing the posts on Facebook.
No. Listen, that was a few and far between. Yeah, I caught a big bass. I put it up there. My buddy Todd Bissett has Lena Lures, and I put that up just to show that I was fishing with him. When I go fishing with him, he's waiting for his new Ranger to come in, and it's a little bit behind because of COVID. So he doesn't have a boat. He's boatless. So when I've been going out fishing a little bit, I give him a call and I take him with. He gets in the boat with 8 rods, all with rod slicks on them. He's got his big tackle box, and it's all full of bass stuff. So what I'll do is I'll do my walleye thing, and he'll be whipping for bass in the front of the boat trying to reach the weed lines where I'm fishing. So then finally I catch a couple walleyes. I'm like, all right, we'll go bass fishing time.
That's funny.
So to appease him, I catch a few bass. And I got to tell you, man, my boat is not used to catching bass.
Well, if you can bring walleye fishermen and bass fishermen together, then I have hope for this world, Joe, and maybe we can find peace.
I tell you what, I think we have some other fish to fry first.
Yeah. All right, Joe, if people want to get up to Lake of the Woods and plan a trip, where should they go to find all the info?
You know what? Our Facebook page has a ton of information. That's Lake of the Woods Tourism. Otherwise, check out our website. And that's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
This has been the Finding Fins Fishing Podcast, part of the Sporting Journal Radio family. Subscribe wherever you get podcasts or go to findingfins.com and make sure to like our sponsors.
Now is the time to start thinking about chasing big walleyes on Devil's Lake. Get on the fish at Haybale Heights Campground and Resort. Haybale Heights makes it easy for you to make memories on legendary Devil's Lake with guided fishing and lodging packages. Or bring your own boat and rent one of their cabins on East Bay. Haybale Heights offers a private marina, fish cleaning station, and the opportunity to relax and enjoy your bucket list trip to Devil's Lake, North Dakota. To book your trip, visit haybaleheights.com. That's haybaleheights.com. Hey anglers, looking for a destination where walleyes, fresh air, and fish fries are a way of life? Look no further than the famous waters of Lake of the Woods. From Baudette and the Rainy River to the main lake up to the Northwest Angle. Here you'll enjoy the best walleye catch rate in the state. Maybe you'll pursue world-class sturgeon, pike, or muskies. Plus, you'll find lots of full-service resorts offering charter boats, delicious meals, and lots of Minnesota nice. Come experience the walleye capital of the world. Come experience Lake of the Woods. Catch the details at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. If trophy lake trout and monster northern pike are on your list this summer, book a trip to Tazen Lake Lodge in northwestern Saskatchewan.
Everything from numbers to big fish.
See pictures, videos, and more at TazenLake.com.
This is quite the fishery.
Our 5-star chef will feed you well after a day of chasing giants on Tazen Lake.
Dream come true.
Get rates, dates, and more of what you can expect
It could be the best fishing you've ever had in your life.
at TazenLake.com. That's TazenLake.com. Tazen Lake Lodge is a proud partner of Tourism Saskatchewan.